All right, fans, welcome back to another week of the Steel Show. Really exciting show, obviously, with the C of I Yotes coming off of a big win in Helena, Montana against number 6 ranked Carroll College. And Coach, jumping into the game again, so exciting for the fan base to see you guys come out like that last week. Just an awesome performance. So just assess, how proud you were of your team for last Saturday.
Well, I think we were excited about getting on the road. We were excited about playing Carroll College. Every time we play them, it seems like the last number of years it's been a big game. So hats off to them. They were undefeated, and we had played our way into a situation where we could have a big game like that, which is really a lot of fun. I thought our guys responded extremely well. The whole trip was focused and great, and at the same time, and I guess I believe this, that you don't want to be tight. So it's not like we were did anything different in practice, and I like a certain amount of looseness, and guys having fun on the road, but you still got to get your work done, and we were ready to play, and so that was the most pleasing thing, that from the opening gun we were ready to play. Now they started the game, they moved the ball right down the field and took up a lot of time. We finally held them. They punt. We're on the 1 yard line. We make a couple first downs, which is always critical. So that was huge. So from the opening series, we finally got a stop, and then we were able to get out of that hole and then punt the ball back to them. Then we held them again. Then we went on a long drive, and so we only had 3 drives in the first half.
Yeah.
And so that was a big touchdown drive, which Andy scored on a quarterback run, which was very well conceived by Braden Bale and Brian Taylor, offensive coordinator, and blocked to perfection, and it was just a thing of beauty. So then they came back and scored. So it was a little bit of a back and forth game, even though it felt like we were kind of in control, and I was very pleased and felt supremely confident about what we were doing, the plans on both sides of the ball. And so then we got the ball with 6 minutes to go again after they had scored, and anyway, so we drove it down again, and
big touchdown at the end of the half.
Big touchdown, big play by Andy. So it was a RPO. Actually, it wasn't an RPO. It was we were faking a run, so play action pass, and he could go to either side and throw either a slant and go to Krebs, or throw a quick out and go to Schofield. Got single coverage. I thought it was a great decision. Not much room on that sideline.
He kind of got widened out there a little bit.
Yeah, so not much room on that sideline, but he clearly had the corner out of position. Great throw, great catch, great play. So that was big to go up 14-7.
Yeah, it's so big at the end of the half like that too, especially when you feel like as a coach, we've played well in this first half.
Yes.
And so to be able to go into halftime with a lead when you feel like we deserve one is just big for the psyche of the team.
Yeah, something to show for it, and I think that the team was fired up, and we knew you don't win games in the first half. You got to come out and win it in the second. So we came out. We were receiving, so they received in the first half, and then we went 3 and out. I think it was our only 3 and out all day, so that was disappointing. But the defense came up huge and got it right back on a 3 and out. So that was amazing. And again, Coach Jewell, I think, was very pleased with the defense in terms of holding them under 100 yards running. Carroll wants to run the ball. And we knew that, and they're a little bit different from everyone else in the conference, and so they're a handful. They're very, very good. And then our next series, second series of the second half, made 9 yards on first down. 2nd and 1, we took a shot, missed an open receiver, and then 3rd and 1, Coach Brian Taylor made the call of his life. We went big personnel, faked, rolled out, and Krebs beat the guy on a double move we call Potter, named after Nate Potter for the Boise State Broncos, but that was fun. We'd been running it for 4 weeks in practice, and it was just like it looked in practice. And John's a talented guy. He can really go. And Andy is such an accurate thrower. We've talked about before. He may miss 1 or 2, but he's not going to miss 2 in a row.
Absolutely.
So he put it on him, and it was great. Full protection, but nice little play action pass we got from the University of Washington, and it's just been a great addition for us. And that kind of got us up, and then it was kind of back and forth. And
I was going to ask you about that, about the complementary football in the second half, right? You talked about there's a couple times, maybe late in the first half or early second half with a stop from the defense. They kind of, keep you guys where you need to be. And then And then it was a little back and forth, but every time Carroll goes down on a drive, answer it right back with another touchdown to kind of keep them at an arm's length. So how great was it as a coach to see both sides of the ball come together and just play complementary football?
Well, it was fantastic. I mean, it was just and we knew it would be a hard-fought game, just like these last ones. This time of year, it's every series matters. It's hard-fought. Carroll, even in a different category, because they're such a physical brand of football.
They're not going to lie down.
And they're well coached. They got the great tradition. You got to be ready to beat them. And so the next drive we got, they scored, so 21-14. Then we got the ball again, and I was pretty sure I wasn't going to kick a field goal of any length. So we were going for it on fourth downs, and I think we were 4 for 4 on fourth down. But it was 4th and 10. Again, Coach BT made a great call. I thought I was in complete support. Protection breakdown. Andy has to slide to the right, and again, Krebs it was a great catch, great contested catch. We call that contested catch. It's one of the most important things in football. People don't understand. Sometimes it's easy to think it's that play action, wide open, hit him in stride. That's football, but really the games are won and lost on who comes up with the 50-50 ball. When you got maybe a half step at the most, the ball's thrown in the right place, the defender's hand is in the way, you still got to come down with the ball, and that was John Krebs. That was the play of the day,
no doubt.
I think.
Especially in conversion situations, 3rd and 4th down, 50-50 ball. Who can come up with it and either get off the field or keep it going?
And it's in the red zone, and so it's just so much going. They think they got a chance to hold. We go for it. Big play. So John Krebs was the man. Andy did a great job too. So it was a fantastic play. Put us up 28-14. They go right down and score again, which is what you were talking about. But then we got a great drive at the end. Really did some good stuff and punched it in there. So it was very, very satisfying to be able to run the ball like we did down the stretch on the very final drive and win the game.
Absolutely.
Which you have to go win games. You have to go win big games. So that's our philosophy, and I believe in that, and I think the team believes in that. So that was very, very satisfying.
Awesome, and just a heck of a job by you guys. And lastly, one thing I wanted to ask you about, a lot of penalties out there. Some unsportsmanlike, some of those kind of personal foul situations. I know, you're in a tight spot as far as what you can comment on official-wise, but I didn't know if you just had any thoughts on, some of the calls that were out there, more on the personal foul side than really operation or holding or things like that.
Yeah, can't comment on the officials and that sort of thing, but I will say this: we're not a dirty team, and looking at the film, it's hard to see anything egregious out there. So I'm proud of the guys. Yeah. And along those lines, and because this is important too, I told the team, and I'll tell them this week too, because it's no different against Eastern Oregon. Football is a game that is played with passion. And you heard me say, and I pulled out the old line: got to be on the edge, but not over the edge. And I thought we were on the right edge. And does that look pretty all the time? Maybe not.
Not supposed to.
But that's football, and there's a physical component, and I believe in that, even as a tall, skinny quarterback who never hit anybody. But you have to be a physical football team. And I thought that's what the team. We have them believing in that, and they love it, and it was awesome, and so I couldn't be prouder of the team.
Good, awesome, and well, great. Well, again, tying a bow on it, just a heck of a job by you guys, and I know how proud all the fans and the alumni are. Just a heck of a performance, and I know in a tough environment. So, moving on to this week, hey, it's rivalry week, right? Always a big game, Battle of I-84, Eastern Oregon coming to town. Eastern Oregon struggled a little bit the last few years, and if you throw on the film of Eastern Oregon, the fans don't get a chance to watch the film, obviously. Much improved football team. There's no doubt about that. I think better on both sides of the ball, and Tim Camp has gotten that roster, looks like, in a better spot this year. First and foremost, they've been productive on defense this year. When you look at them, they fly around. So what have you seen from their defense, whether it be schematically or just the mentality they play with that you've been impressed with so far?
Well, on defense, they do a lot of different things, and they try to confuse you, and they do. They not only try, they do. It's a confusing defense, so it's very, very difficult, and it's meant to confuse the quarterback, especially in the passing game. They have their confusion issues too. So they do a lot of things. I was watching the Minnesota Vikings against the 49ers on Monday night, and they were saying Minnesota's defensive coordinator blitzes 57% of the time, a full 25% more than any other team in the league. Eastern Oregon is like that. Brian Flores was quoted as saying, "I just remember when I was on the offensive side of the ball how much trouble and how much anguish it caused the offensive staff when there was a blitzing team." So I immediately thought to Eastern Oregon, that's exactly what they do. They try to cause a tremendous amount of confusion and anxiety and consternation and difficulty with everything they do. And they're playing as good a team defense as they play. They've had the same defensive coordinator. He does a great job in Coach Mills, and they do some great stuff, and we have to figure it out. And so that's one component. Then offensively, Quincy, their quarterback from Central Washington, is I think a very, very good player, and I think if we let him get on a roll, we're gonna have our hands full. So I think he's shown at various times to be very, very effective, and they have a new offensive coordinator, and they have a very tight, very good scheme that's diverse. So I think they probably are the most improved unit in the conference, in my opinion. The offense or defense. So they're just improving on offense. Their defense has been formidable. And then in addition, Coach Camp coaches their special teams, and they do a great job on special teams. So they have really good returners. They have they cover kicks very well. So they got our attention for sure. They are a very good team, and I think they're in. They lost some games early. But I think they're a team that's going to contend for a championship in the near future. So that's kind of the way we're viewing it, and it'll be exciting. We love playing Eastern Oregon, but it's difficult with all that. So I hope the fans come out. It should be a great rivalry game, and it's important, and everybody gets fired up for it. I think that's one of the great things about college football, that there are these kind of rivalries and games that really, really matter.
Absolutely, and speaking on the history of it, before we kind of wrap this thing up, I think we've played Eastern. I mean, gosh, since the program's been back, it's probably near 20 times with how many times we played them twice in one season. And so, you and Coach Camp have gone after it a lot of times and had some great battles. And he's obviously a coach that hard on his sleeve type coach, passionate type coach, which is awesome. I know he can really rally those troops. So, when you play against a Tim Camp coach team, what's that mentality that you expect to see out of them?
Exactly that. So you hit it on the head. They're going to be physical, and they're going to be. It will be a physical game, maybe more physical even than the Carroll game. That's just the way they play, and they play fast. He gets them playing extremely fast in all phases of the game, and I have a lot of respect for Coach Camp. And we've had some great battles over the years, and so I expect nothing different this week.
Yes, sir. Well, fans, so excited to see you guys out there this week. We're going to have some player interviews coming up, but just to piggyback on what Coach Mo said, senior day, let's get out for these guys. It's a big game. We're competing for a championship, so hope to see a ton of fans out there at Simplot Stadium this week. And Coach, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Brock.
All right, fans, we're here with stud cornerback for the Yotes, Chip Mitchell, transfer from the Boise State Broncos this year. That's been starting at corner for us, doing a great job. And Chip just kind of getting right into the Carroll game last week. Obviously a huge win for the program, huge win for your team. And, defensively, felt like you guys were able to really step up in a number of spots and get some key stops and do a pretty good job corralling a good quarterback in a good passing game, really, right? So how do you guys feel like you were able to do that and kind of assess your guys' performance?
Yeah, so we knew going into it was going to be a tough game. We were going to have to play together as a defense and all do our jobs right. Their passing game, we knew it was going to be something we had to stop. They came out, they took their shots on us. Got a few, but overall, I feel like we did
a good job corralling. Jack Perkins is a good quarterback too, so I feel like you guys did a good job of keeping him in check. And one of the things I wanted to ask you about that game, how big it was for you guys' confidence. There was a kind of in the middle of the game there. We get a touchdown at the end of the half to go up 14-7, and then we come out, we get the ball and get an unfortunate 3-and-out, right? And we punt it back to Carroll, and that's a situation where if they can go on a drive and tie it up, they feel like they're right in this thing, and you guys are able to get off the field. How big was that to to kind of stand there, get another stop, give your offense another chance, and then obviously we hit a deep shot to make it 21-7, and now it's a totally different game.
Yeah, no, that was huge. It's always nice to be able to go out there and get those 3 and outs. It just really brings the guys together.
Yeah.
We all it just brings another level of trust.
Yeah.
Like, we go out there, we get the stop we need to, so we all look at each other and we know that we're there for each other.
And to get the confidence building a little bit,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh,
so,
yeah.
great. Well, moving on to Eastern Oregon, obviously a huge game, as always, Battle I-84, big-time rivalry. Eastern Oregon is a team that when you put on film is much improved from the last few years.
Yeah.
You know, they have struggled a little bit. They have a great history, a great program, struggled a little bit for a couple years, but they feel like they really kind of turned some things around and are playing much better. And so when you throw on the film of their offense, new quarterback this year, new coordinator, what are you seeing from their offense that you've been kind of impressed with so far?
Yeah, so EOU, they're definitely kind of some sleepers this year. They've been
Yeah.
playing their games closely. Their quarterback, he's got an arm on him. He can sling that ball. So as long as we just cover our guys, stay on, discipline, do our jobs, I think we'll be able to.
Absolutely. And this is senior day for you, correct?
Yeah. It
Awesome.
is. It
Yeah,
is.
yeah. Well, that'd be great to, hopefully we can, get lucky enough, fortunate enough to host one, at Simple SA in the playoff. If we're fortunate enough to do that, still a lot of work to do there, and the job's far from finished. But hope you enjoy your senior day. And Yo fans, come out and watch this guy ball out on Saturday. And Chip, we appreciate your time.
Awesome. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
man. All right, Yo fans, we're here with starting center Liam Coppinger out of Northern Washington this week. Excited to have him on the show. And, Liam jumping right into the Carroll game, obviously a great performance by the offense and a huge win. And, really felt like the O-line did a great job in a number of areas. Thought you pass protected well for Andy. You ran the ball well when you needed to, especially down in some goal line situations or short yardage situations, picking up first downs. And so really assess your O-line's performance, how you feel like you guys played against Carroll.
Yeah, no, it was a really physical game. It was definitely one of our hardest ones. Carroll has, by far the best defensive line we've played against all year. And, for a lot of guys, it was super personal because last year we were designated to go into the national playoffs if we won that game and, it just didn't come out our way. So, especially with them all there talking and, it being a rivalry game, it was probably by far our physicalist on pass. We just had to keep Andy up. I mean, he's having this All-American season, and on the run game, Almar, Hunter, and Andy as well, just being able to pound it out and just give them lanes to go through. So, I mean, after all, it came out on top, and it just not a better feeling in the world.
Absolutely. No, you guys had just a great performance by you guys, and you've been playing well all year. And so, jumping into Eastern Oregon, another rivalry game, Battle I-84, always an emotional big game. And, like you and I talked about before the show, Eastern Oregon is certainly an improved football team. They've played very well for most of the year on defense, bring a lot of different pressures and kind of try to create chaos and just play fast. And so, what have you seen on film that you've been impressed with? What kind of challenges do they bring this Saturday to the O-line?
Yeah, so their record does not speak for their defense at all. I mean, they only won 2 games, but in the last 3 games, they've only led 1 offensive touchdown, especially against Carroll when it was they almost shut them out.
Yeah.
And so their D-line, they're physical, they move a lot, but as long as we stick to our technique and our fundamentals, I think we'll be able to move the ball just as well as we did against anybody else. I'm just kind of looking forward to coming out there and just wrecking shop.
I like it.
Doing our business again.
I love it. I love it. Well, Yo fans, like I said, senior day. Let's pack the stadium for these guys against Eastern Oregon. Huge game this week to try to keep this season rolling. And Liam, we appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.